Hello and welcome to episode 4 of the Kyle Howie Show. In this episode I'll be chatting to probably one of the most travelled pipers in the world and founding member of the Red Hot Chilli Pipers, Mr. Willie Armstrong. Hello Willie. Now Willie, so what we do here is we just kind of chat about yourself first and then we'll eventually get to the Red Hot Chilli Pipers and you can give some info on how that all came about and stuff like that. So let's start off about you. How did you get started as a piper? How did you get involved?
In the late 70s, I stayed in the Nautical College down in the Gorbals in Glasgow, and there was a band practised in the Nautical College, the Glasgow Sky Association big band. And my grandfather had just died at the time. His name was Willie McGuinness. He was dead Scottish. I was actually born Liam Armstrong. And it was around about this time I changed my name. It wasn't by deed poll. I just started. Anybody knew I met, I would just say my name is Willie. So then I became Willie Armstrong, and I heard the pipes every night from, well, not every Tuesday and Thursday, coming through across in the dining hall at Nautical College. When I stayed there and I whirled up one night and I spoke to a guy, Donald Gibson, and also Kenny McLeod was there. His brother was a pipe major and his dad used to come up and help teach me. And
Kenny's brother?
Yeah.
Right.
Donald, he was a dentist. He was a pipe major in 1981 for the Glasgow Sky Association pipe band in grade 1, and these guys were good enough. It's testament to how their love of the instrument that they took this wee laddie who just appeared from nowhere and taught me for nothing really.
For nothing?
Aye. They just used to go up. They would be half an hour before the pipe band practice, especially Donald Gibson. I was just kind of the wee guy. It must have been his wee project, and they gave me a set of pipes. Obviously, they threw the tag line spear as I would nowadays, and I learned there. And
how old were you when you first started?
So I'd have been 12 when I first picked up a practice chanter, and then when I started getting up to the band, the Glasgow Sky band, I would have been about 14, 15.
So was it a couple of years from practice chanter, your first lesson to bagpipes?
Yes,
yeah.
Aye.
Now, when did you realise bagpipes were the thing for you? After like 14, I was 14 when I first kind of wanted to do bagpipes all the time.
Yeah.
Was it the same deal for you when you first started going to the pipe band?
Aye, pretty much. I think it's the same for quite a lot of pipers. Obviously there's a big dropout rate when it gets to you've learned some tunes in the chanter and then all of a sudden they say, right, forget all that just now because you need to learn all this other stuff now to transition onto the bagpipes. And I think that's when it's like jumping off a cliff. Then you have 100 people in your class, and as soon as you break that one to them, you've got 2 people sitting in your class. So I think that you must, any piper who's got to our level or any level really, and that means just be able to get a tune all the way through on the pipes, they must have something in them that really wants them to, they enjoy the sound of the bagpipes. When I hear bagpipes, even now, a well played set of pipes or a well set up pipe band, I still get goosebumps, as I think most of us do, and I don't think that'll ever leave me. So that's just the sound. I like the nationalistic side of the things, the Scottishness.
Braveheart,
well, wearing kilts, and this is my culture. So I was very proud of that. I don't think I've ever said anything different. That's
it's your identity, isn't it?
It's my identity. It was, my father played in the Dunoon band. He was a side drummer in the Dunoon band, so there's a wee bit of that in me. Obviously I wasn't pushed awfully hard by my parents, but my dad would take me to the pipe band contests and all that. And as you hear, speaking to pipers like yourself and Kevin and Stuart and all that, they're dead to support their family too. So but then it kind of never leaves you, does it?
So about kind of leaving pipes and stuff, you were in the Navy for a while. Was it 4 years service in the Navy?
4.5 years.
4.5 years.
The absolute minimum, Kyle.
the minimum.
The minimum.
With the Navy, you probably didn't get very much time to play your pipes.
No.
So did it filter away at that point for a wee while?
I all died off. I still had my practice chanter, and the whole time I was in the Navy I never had my pipes with me. There was nothing, there was no piping at all.
Jeez,
I had my practice chanter, and then because I stayed in a mess with 32 other guys, you could imagine how my constant practice would have went down with 32 other guys who had zero interest in bagpipes. In fact, probably just the opposite.
Because you weren't even based in Scotland, were you?
No, I was down in Kildose, down in England, and then I was on the HMS Ark Royal, the aircraft carrier. So that was even worse. There was nowhere to practice there, so it just became... one of the sailors stole the top of my practice chanter.
No.
So I thought, that will put me off, so I just put my mouth over the reed.
No.
I started playing it like that, and then 2 days later the reed disappeared.
No. Jeez, so was it because you were bad, or because
you just
didn't
like it? Probably a bit of both, Kyle.
Oh no. How did you get involved with playing again? after that?
Well, so that's a story. On my 30th birthday, Anna took me up. My wife took me up to Pitlochry, Loch Tummel, and we stayed in a log cabin. And it was February. My birthday's February, and there was not really much going on in Pitlochry in February.
There still isn't anything
we
going
went
on.
to see the fish ladder, thinking that we would see salmon, which is completely. If you think about the seasons, but all we saw was a bag of crisps. Because it's got the windows, you can see the fish ladder.
Right enough, right enough.
And actually on that day we came back, there was a wee shop and it was selling. It sold penny whistles. So I went in and I bought a penny whistle. And I said, considering I'd known my wife at that time, I'd been out with her for maybe 3 years, and it hadn't really come up in the conversation that I'd played the pipes. And, but I got this penny whistle and I started mucking around with the penny whistle. Fox fingering like crazy and all. It was in the days before YouTube. But I was getting tunes out it. I was as most pipers could.
And Anna thought you were a genius.
Aye, she thought, I didn't know you could do that. And I said, aye, it's a wee thing. So Anna's got it into her head then that would be the perfect Christmas present for me. She'd get me a set of pipes. So that was in the February. I had this penny whistle, and throughout the whole year I had a hankering to go back to it. But I was also busy, doing other things with the fire brigade and all that. But lo and behold, Anna had got me a set of pipes. She got them out of Southside Music, and I've got a lot of thanks for the guy in there, Southside Music. He's a bit of a legend in Glasgow. She managed to get a set of pipes out there, and I got them for my Christmas 1995 when I was 30.
Jeez, was it difficult to get them back up and running again? Did you have to go and get lessons?
Aye, it was, again, I pretty much got to say I would need to start from scratch, because the fingers were away. I hadn't played for so long, obviously I had no stamina. The setup wasn't great either, and I went back to, believe it or not, the Sky band where I started. Glasgow Sky. Ian Roddick was the pipe major at the time. The band were in grade 1, and I met a lot of good friends that time in Glasgow Sky. So that had been probably the late 90s, 1997, 98. And I played in the Sky there for maybe 5 or 6 years, and that's where I met Kevin MacDonald, one of the Red Hot Chilli Pipers. He was a young laddie at the time. He didn't drive a car. I had to go and pick him up. He stayed just not far from here, and I'd take Kevin to the pipe band practice.
Was it grade 2? Within
grade 1, no, never
grade
1.
Right.
As I always said, Kevin Quayle, who sadly passed away, is my great friend when we played in Glasgow Sky with Ian Roddick, and we were always kind of, some of the minders, you might beat the Vale Atholl or something like that at the time. So I know you're wearing a t-shirt. We beat the Vale Atholl at Pitlochry. Interviews at Pitlochry one year. That was the claim to fame. And I heard Gordon Duncan playing. That was the first time I heard Gordon Duncan playing pipes. So we were always kind of last or second last, really. And I remember Kevin Quayle came over to me. It was Cowell, I think, and he came over and says, "Oh, you'll not believe it." I says, "What is it?" He says, "We're last." I was like, "Oh Christ!" I says, "See this?" I says, "It's no the winning or losing that counts. It's the no coming last."
Oh no! It's grade 1 bands. You've been in other bands, eh? Was it Scottish Power?
Aye,
you were playing under Roddy McLeod.
Aye.
Oh, what was that like?
That was amazing. That was the pinnacle. That was what all the practice was for. I remember I heard the Power at Rook and Glen. They had a championship at Rook and Glen. I can't remember when that was. Late 90s or whatever it was, and I have a video of it. In fact, I think I gave it to Stuart not so long ago. And we're playing Kelsey's Video, and that's the first time I heard the chordal harmonies and all that come through in a pipe band. This is all new to me because I've been out the game for so long. And I thought, oh my god, that's amazing. And I heard the Field Marshal Montgomery band that day too, but the Scottish Power and I remember I was in a summer school for the Piping Centre, so that must have been late 90s, 98, 99 when the Piping Centre first opened, and they were good enough to take us up to a band practice at Cathcart over on the south side. Scottish Power, and I remember thinking, I've got whatever I'm doing here, I've got to get into this band. So that was a wee goal I set myself. Even at the age of early 30s, mid 30s, I thought, well, if I keep practising, and when I say practising, it was like, as we all do, it was getting to 9, 10, 11 hours a day practising.
It's hard work. Now, bagpipes, Willie, you've got a few sets of very nice bagpipes.
Yes.
What's your current set that you're playing? We'll be hearing, people have already heard them by now, and we'll be hearing them again at the end of the video, but that's your current set, your Wallace pipes. So tell us about them, what your setup and all that for them.
So Craig was good enough to sponsor us, and he gives us the pipes. So I'm playing a set of Wallace pipes just now, made for the Red Hot Chilli Pipers. I've got a Wallace B flat chanter. The band have to play in B flat for all the other instruments, especially the brass guys. So it's just easier playing in B flat. Synthetic bag. We've tried all sorts of different things over the years. but because of the amount of travelling we do, it just becomes impossible with sheepskin bags, as you'll know, and all the rest of the palaver that goes with that. Again, synthetic reeds, I've got easy drone reeds in the pipes just now, and Jockey Elliott's chanter reeds are spot on for B flat.
Banging. The B flat reed. Amazing. Now, just quickly back to pipe bands again before we get into the Chilli Piper side of the bagpipe world. Also, your first band, Glasgow Sky. What did you learn there as a young person learning pipes? What were you learning kind of socially as well?
I think that, and I tell this to loads of people, including my own children, my own girls, there's never really any bother at any pipe band contest. It's the most family orientated thing you can really do. I like the idea that it's our culture, and that is perpetuated. When you go to these Highland Games, you see the dancers, you see the pipers piping for the dancers, you see the caber tossing. It's all Scottish. And as I travel later on in life, as I travel around the world, I'm just back from Canada, Fergus Highland Games, and that was just the most amazing thing. Everybody completely and utterly accepts that this is the Scottish culture all over the world. You were with us at Kuala Lumpur, weren't you? The Kuala Lumpur.
No, I was on that gig.
You were on that gig. And again, it was a load of guys just cutting about with kilts on, and it's just amazing that they would in Kuala Lumpur. I love the fact that it's so family orientated. I like the fact as well that you learn to be sociable. You'll have there's a lot of pipers out there I know who like a pipe, and let's be honest,
we all do.
And it does see when you're finished playing, you do get thirsty, So
it's hard work playing a set of bagpipes.
It's hard work, and I love the atmosphere in the beer tents when somebody's got a set of pipes going. I was over in playing at the Fergus Highland Games there, and the band that won it, I think it was Guelph Police, they came into the Pipers bar at the end and started playing their competition set, and it was just amazing. Again, I've got goosebumps. And everybody was drinking the beer, and I just thought it's an amazing thing to be involved in, and people who are not involved in it don't actually I grasp the level of commitment first of all from the bandsmen and women that are doing it on a week to week basis. But you do, I think the reward is after you've finished playing your competition piece and you've got time then to get a couple of beers before the match passed.
Just chill out a bit.
Playing 6/8s for the drum majors, I really look forward to that.
Your favourite part of pipe bands?
Your heart sinks, you see the cheer going.
You get told to go this way.
He's going to ask us to play 6/8s.
Pipe band highlights and achievements. What's the biggest thing that's happened to you with pipe bands?
Pipe bands, it's got to be just getting into the Scottish Power. I remember we played, I didn't know, because nobody makes you any promises or anything like that at that level. So you go and you go to every practice. I was having to take time off from work and all that just to get to practices, and I made sure that my pipes were always going. I knew this competition stuff backwards and forwards, inside out. Roddy told us one day that I used to go to Roddy for lessons in the piping centre, and I said to me, he says how it works. He says if you had to go in front of 10 million people and recite the alphabet, do you think you would make a mistake? A, B, C, D, E, F. And I said, well, I don't think I would. And he said, well, that's the way it should be with your tunes, with your competition tunes. You should know them as well as you know the alphabet. So if you've made a mistake or you've made a bluter, then you need to go back and play it another 10 times to make sure that that's on your fingers and it's never going to leave you. And the best advice I was ever given with the pipe band stuff was don't practice until you get it right. Practice until you can't get it wrong.
That's it.
I loved that. So my highlight definitely was the first contest I played with in the Power was, again, we get treated really well because it was a big sponsorship, I think they still do.
Still is.
Still is, It was the best of buses, and we flew over to Malahide in Ireland to do the Malahide contest. But that was the first time, because you're still on tenterhooks. You don't know if you're going to get dropped or whether you're going to, if you've made it, and you don't know that until the first time you step on that competition field. And I remember I was standing beside Stuart Cassels, and Stuart turned in and he says, you've made it. And I was like, oh, amazing. And he went on and played Malahide, and I just felt this amazing sense of achievement, because that had been, for somebody my age, that had been pretty much 5 or 6 years of my life, 10 hours a day, to get to play with the Scottish Power Band. And then throughout the season I played in every contest with it. So that's got to be the pinnacle. And the sound that somebody said to me, what's the best thing about playing in the Power? I says, it's just the sound, because you need to get it, your pipes have got to be pretty close. And Roddy will come in, we always used to play John Bartley. And he used to say, right, your high A is sharp and your E is flat, and then you go away and sort that and then come back, and woe betide if you didn't get that right, you would just listen, do the right. That used to happen to me a lot. It's pretty cutthroat, there isn't any time to be mucking around.
No.
You need to get
especially
your
like
songs
with the Worlds this year. The weather was all right, but it was just spittery the whole day, both days. But the Friday in particular was awful, and the amount of guys that you hear getting chucked because just the pipes couldn't cope. Terrible. Bagpipes, terrible.
Especially sheepskin. I think it was back to sheepskin. They weren't
A lot of bands are.
They
The Veil are on the sheepskin. Actually, I think all the Grade 1 bands are more or less back on the sheepskin.
One of the strange things people I've got asked quite a lot. One of the strange things in my memories always been, because they say that the sense of smell is one of your strongest memories. And I remember going out to Glasgow Sky, the dining hall at the Nautical College in 1981, and the smell of the sheepskin bags would immediately hit you because all the pipers were there. They take their pipes out of the boxes. Enough. You don't get that. Well, when I went back to piping, I thought there was something missing, and that's what was missing. And I didn't get that until I went back to when I went to play with Scottish Power, because it was all sheepskin, Jim Begg's sheepskin bags that we played.
Right.
And I thought, oh, there's that smell. And it was the smell of all the different like 25 pipers, all with sheepskin bags. And I thought, oh, that's that smell. And it immediately hit me.
Your childhood's
memory. When I played with Glasgow Sky the second time, when Ian was the pipe major, everybody was in synthetic bags. That was a new thing then. Everybody was in synthetic bags and synthetic reeds. But I always missed that smell of the sheepskin bag. But as you say, from what I do now with the piping, I couldn't possibly play a sheepskin bag.
I'm doing it, but a lot of the Chilli gigs I do are usually corporate gigs. So for the sake of a couple of big band gigs, I can kind of get away with it. And the wee Trapdri, that's totally changed the game for sheepskin. Amazing. I don't know if I'm allowed to advertise anyone else.
I think you can. It's your thing. Kyle.
I can. Okay, they're very good. You should buy one.
What you want.
Now, Willie, the Red Hot Chilli Pipers.
I thought you'd never ask.
Yes, but we've got here in the end. Yes. How did you get involved with the band?
Well, we played with after we left Glasgow Sky, we went to the Stirling band. Stuart was the pipe major at the time, and then David McRobert took over. Me and David left Glasgow Sky, went up to the Stirling band, and my mates at school, Danny and that, they had another band called the Gutty Slippers. They're still on the go.
The Gutty Slippers.
And they played at corporate events. They done quite well. They went to Kiev and all that. And I remember the big thing was they played at Gazza's wedding.
What?
Aye.
Footballer?
Chris Evans was a DJ.
No.
Aye. And the Gutty Slippers had played at Gazza's wedding. So they were in the papers and all that. They were in Hello magazine. And I saw them, and they weren't. I mean, they were the first to admit as well. They weren't the best pipers or best musicians, but they had something. There was something very entertaining about it. They used to jump up on tables and all that, and they've done very well in the corporate market and still do. They still play at Glen Eagles and all that. Aye. So I thought to myself that one night, I said, we should, because we had ScottishBagpiper.com, myself, Stuart and Kevin, when the internet domain names started coming in. Stuart had got that, so we had the contract for the Cameron House, and we used to just do solo piping gigs, weddings and all that, as we all do, you know. But I was getting a bit bored of that, because as most pipers will know, you can sit at a wedding for 6 hours. You're sitting in your book,
long hard day,
and if you have a receiving line or the photographs I've got to take, especially these big massive weddings at Cameron House. So I was getting a bit fed up, and I said to Stuart one night, I said, we should try doing something like the Gutty Slippers, because my wife Anna works in the Royal Bank. She'll be big able to get us some corporate gigs. But it would be better if we were a bit smarter. Let's smarten up a wee bit, because they've got their niche. We should maybe create our own niche. And she went, maybe that's a good idea. So it never really went anywhere. And throughout the next few months was anything. And then we decided that we would get together. There was a corporate gig coming up for the Royal Bank, and Stuart obviously had a lot of contacts with entertainment agencies across Scotland. So it was myself, there was another piper at the time, Brian McLaughlin. He was in the Stirling band as well. And it was myself, Brian and Stuart were the three original pipers. And we got ourselves grey kilts. There's still pictures on the internet, you'll find them. Grey kilts and black shirts, but no sporrans.
No sporrans.
We thought that was banging.
Oh no!
But there was a horrible picture. I remember appeared Jack McConnell, the old First Minister, and he appeared at Tartan Week in New York, and he's like that. And he had no sporran on. I says, wow, we need to get sporrans. But we had a gig in the grass market in Edinburgh, and Stuart was walking past the shop. We were walking past the shop, and Stuart saw a red sporran. He says, here, that's the very thing there. So we bought the red sporrans. So it was grey kilts, red sporrans, black shirts, and knee gigs. Basically, there was a gig would come in once in a while. And then I remember one time I was up at the pipe band, the Stirling pipe band, and one of the laddies was cutting about with a grey kilt, and I said, where did you get that? He says, I just bought it off Brian McLaughlin. And I said to Brian, I said, what have you sold your kilt for? He says, I'm not bothered with this thing, it's not going to go anywhere, it's not making any money. And I was like, well, we've got a gig in Stirling Castle on Saturday night. He said, well, I'm not doing it. I said, okay then. So we decided then that Kevin was a good friend of ours as well. He was always busy doing his accountancy stuff and all that. He just finished university. So we asked Kevin if he wouldn't mind, you know, and Kevin went, aye, I'd be delighted. And I think history will say we haven't probably looked back, you know. It went from strength to strength.
And that is 15 years ago now, is it? 15
We
years?
didn't have a name at that point. It was Stuart had phoned me, and as the famous story always goes. I was sitting in his room, and Stuart phoned me, and it was 4 o'clock in the morning or something. I said, Stuart, man, this better be important. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. I said, it is important. I said, what is it? He says, I've got a name for the band. And I was like, right, what's the name? And he went, it's the Red Hot Chilli Pipers. And I was like, oh, that's brilliant. How did you get that? And it was a part, Jill, his girlfriend at the time, a good friend of mine as well, a Highland dancer. She was sorting out his CDs, and he said, listen, do us a favour, put them in genre order, so put rock and pop and mainstream in one pile, and then put traditional, of which Stuart had quite a lot, put them in another pile. And Stuart picked up a Red Hot Chili Pipers CD from the traditional music pile and said, what do you put that in there for? And Jill said, well, sorry, I misread that, I thought it said Red Hot Chili Pipers. And Stuart went, oh, bingo, that's the name of the band.
That's it. Crazy. The band won a massive TV show. You're probably doing some gigs at this point anyway, I imagine. But you've won the When Will I Be Famous? Was it 2007?
Yeah.
Does that when everything really started to take off?
So it became more of a, whereas before that it was just, you know, fun, and it wasn't really, I don't think even then I never really thought about money, and I think none of us did. It was just funny, you know. It was entertaining. It was just something to do. It was certainly better than doing a wedding at Cameron House. You know, you get with your mates, you get a couple of pints, you play your pints for 20 minutes doing a corporate set, and you come back, you might get, I don't know, in those days when you get £100, and then somebody would need to pay for the petrol, you know. So, but after we'd done the TV show, it all became, we had to get a website very quickly because we didn't have one. And Stuart had a lot of gigs through his own band, the Gazelle's band, and he quickly converted those contracts into Red Hot Chili Pipers, which was awful good of him. Obviously Stuart had a lot to do with it, you know. He was, nobody can ever take that away from Stuart Gazelles. It was mostly all
driving force.
Oh Christ, it was. Me and Kevin and the rest of us kind of dipped in my ideas every now and again, but there was certainly no doubt it was Stuart Gazelles. It was his baby.
Well, how did the tour and stuff come about? Was it, did you get in touch with people in these places, or did they get in touch with you?
No, so it was, we'd done a gig, and that's on YouTube as well. We'd done a gig in the port, it wasn't the Port of Bishop, the Spas Marine in L'Oreal in Brittany, and it was meant to be the festival had booked Stuart Gazelles because he was at the academy at the time, and he'd just won Young Traditional Musician of the Year, or he was in the process of going through all that, and they booked him. Stuart had obviously all the contacts, Paul Jennings and the drum kit and all that, and he was going to go and do this festival, and he decided that after we got the TV show that perhaps we should, you know, go in as a Red Hot Chili Pipers, but we didn't have an hour's, we barely had half an hour's worth of material, so we had to go in and come up with all these different sets and all that. That was quite exciting. And then I remember at the Spas Marine, we played in front, it was a big massive tent right at the harbour there, and I'd taken Molly at the time. Wee Molly was about 5 or 6 year old. She wanted to get involved. She was with this as a wee holiday, you know. We were all the family thing was still relevant. But we got to the Spas Marine, and the first night we played there, it was the Thursday night or something like that, and I mean, maybe in this massive tent which probably held about 3,000 people, including the bleachers up the back. There was probably about 100 people there. I mean, we weren't expecting any more than that, you know. We were just, here we go, you know, we're going to play with pipes. This is like a thing now. And that was the first night. And the second night, I remember we were walking down. The Gregor, the guitarist at the time, he probably stood out from the crowd a wee bit more than the rest of us because he had a red mohawk.
Like red mohawk thing.
And we were walking down, and there was this big, massive queue. And I kept saying to Gregor, what that's for? That queue there. Must be something's good. Must be going on.
Must be a good band kicking about.
Aye. And it turns out that was a queue to get in to see us on the Friday night. So we came on stage on the Friday night, and it was easily 2/3 full. And that's with the video from the back, taken from the bleachers. This guy was, you could hear him, he's got a Yorkshire accent. Stuart knows his name, Stuart knows him. Anyway, that video then, because it was the early stages of YouTube as well, that video was then passed around all different festivals throughout Spain and France and Europe, Germany and all that. and all of a sudden we started getting booked for festivals.
And the band, like, I've done tours of Germany, like 6-week long tours. America, you've been to America for like 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Just 8 weeks in a winner on tour.
Winner.
It's mental. For bagpipes.
Yeah. Playing every night.
For bagpipes. For pop tunes on bagpipes.
Exactly.
Crazy stuff.
Bag rock, baby.
Now, the Chili's, with them getting busier and stuff, you've been, you were in the fire service for a long time.
27 years, Kyle.
27 years in the fire service. How did you manage to juggle that, the Chili's, and your family, everything else?
It was stressful in the end. I took a career break from the fire service 2009, and I had a decision to make whether I would go back to the fire service or would carry on with the band. And obviously you have a worry there that there's not going to be, because the band at that time had only been going for maybe 5 or 6 years. The level of gigs financially wasn't really what I could rely on completely to be able to support my family and pay my bills. So after the career break, the fire brigade basically emailed me or phoned me and says, listen, you better get yourself back to your work. That's been half a year. I tried to get another year, but they said no. Get back. So I went back to the fire brigade, and it became really stressful because I couldn't leave the fire brigade because I had so little time left to get my pension, and I'd paid into the 16% of my salary for my whole working life, so I was hardly going to index link that and get it when I'm 67 or something like that.
Can't really be giving that up.
No, definitely not. So I can't really say anything apart from that it was really stressful, and I had to keep doing the band stuff as well because the band would be expecting me to do that. So it became, I was working easily 120 hours a week sometimes more. Sometimes
getting no sleep.
With no sleep, man.
Jeez,
At my age as well, so I was in my late 40s at that time, so it was beyond stressful. And I can remember speaking to the pensions guy in the fire brigade, and he says, well, this is the date you can leave, and I thought, right, that's fine, that'll totally do me. And I walked out and I felt as if it was a big weight had been.
And you've been retired from the fire service a couple of years now, eh?
So this March it'll be, well, that's 2.5 years. This March will be 3 years.
Right. When's your next trip with the band?
We're going away to Corning, upstate New York, on the 5th of October to do one gig, flying out, doing one gig, flying back.
Just one gig?
Aye.
Jeez,
mad.
Have you got any interesting stories from your time on the road with the Chili's? You've been all over you've been to most parts of the world by now. Any interesting things that you've seen whilst you've been on the roads?
I think we've seen you've been involved in a few.
Well, right enough, yes.
I think we've seen quite a lot there.
Yes.
We'll
not link that below.
A couple of standouts. I remember as you go on and you do these things, and you do get nervous sometimes, and especially if it's a live TV show. But I remember obviously we hadn't been used to it at all just before When Will I Be Famous, and Gregor, we were all, I could see everybody was getting uptight, and I was trying to calm everybody down because I was a fireman, and I think that it can't be any worse than getting into a fire. Well, I tell you, I was 100 times more nervous doing that than I was ever getting into a fire when sometimes your life's at risk. But I remember that we were all getting pretty uptight, and they'd give us the final call. We'd been to makeup and all that, and basically you're playing your pipes in front of 8 million people live on the telly, so I remember Mad Gregor, he had the guy with the mohawk, and it's the best thing that could ever happened at that point. He was neither up nor down about any of it. He was just getting on with his day, and he came into the change. I thought, what's he wearing? All he had on was his sporn.
No.
And he used to wear those, it was like the gangster shoes. It wasn't Brogues he wore. It was they had white.
Pure Bugsy Malone type
things. So he had a sporn on and a pair of these shoes and nothing else, buck naked.
No.
And he came out and changed and he started doing press ups.
Oh no.
And that was 5 minutes before we went on and done that.
No.
And then you see him in the video, he's just like playing his guitar. It was pretty cool. I remember as well that when we were up against a band called String Fever, and they were all like RADA trained classical musicians, and one of their girlfriends was the presenter at Blue Peter, and all the producers and all that, and I was like, this is a total stitch up. We're going to get totally slaughtered here. And I remember I said to, but Stuart was like, no. Stuart was really, really precise at all the high, somebody's high ace flat and all that. I was like, I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. We're up against this mob from London called String Fever. We're in London. It's the BBC. We've got he's going out with the BBC, the Blue Peter presenter. We've got no chance, Stuart.
Game over.
And he's like, no. We'll just do our thing. It'll be fine. And Stuart, he was always like really, really hyper and dead positive about it. And I was like, well, I don't think so. I says, I'll tell you what, I'll tell you right now. I says, see if we beat this Sting Fever mob, I says, I'll give you my left. So that was the thing. As soon as we beat them by 1 vote, by the way. It was super close, and that was us. We were through to the final, and obviously we won it after that. But then we were all in the bar drinking in Shepherd's Bush. It was the old BBC place. We were all in the bar drinking. I think we won £10,000, and I think we rattled that in the bar because all our families were there. There was about 20 people, and it was really expensive. So we were all, and I remember Stuart come up to us and says, "Don't forget, your left belongs to the Red Hot Chilli Pipers." I think that's in Fergus Muirhead's book, that story.
Jeez,
there's been so many.
That's brilliant. So, obviously 15 years you've been on the band. What's the highlight of your career? That big win on When Will I Be Famous, that'll be well up there, but is there anything beyond that totally ticks the list on kind of life achievements?
There's so many now. I remember people say, do you get nervous? And again, I come back to what I said at the start with the pipe bands, and don't practice until you get it right. Practice you can't get it wrong, and it becomes like unconscious competence. You know, you don't really get nervous. You don't really make mistakes. You've played the tunes that many times, but I remember one time we played at Proms in the Park, in Hyde Park in London, and because you're busy, you're getting things done, make sure your tape's okay. Don't want any of your tape slipping. Your microphone's positioned correctly. All your packs are on, and they're in the right frequency, and you've got things to do. You know, so you're in your own wee world just before you go on, and it was live in the radio, plus in front of it was like 70,000 people in Hyde Park. Brian Ferry was headlining, and I remember I went on and I was in my own wee world, and I thought, right, I'm good to go, it's sorted. And then we spun round into Insomnia, which is one of the most difficult tracks to play. And it just hit me, this wave of like, hell, 80,000 people, and for the first few bars I was like trying to catch up, and I was looking left and right. Help!
Couldn't get a breath in.
But obviously you settle down after that. And it was the Tea in the Park thing was amazing. And I remember when you play main stage Tea in the Park, the story about the Chili Pipers and Tea in the Park in the very early days in 2008, 2009. Stuart being super enthusiastic. We'd get asked. We had a gig in Edinburgh that night. I think it was the National Museum. And Stuart got a phone call to somebody that he knew that the Darkness are wanting a few pipers to go along and play for them. The Darkness were only playing because David Bowie, sadly, who died. David Bowie had taken ill, so the Darkness had taken over the headline spot for the Tea in the Park gig. But the Darkness, the bass player is from Balado. He stayed in Balado, or close to Balado, and he fancied having some pipers on stage. So we went up and we had to learn Love in the Rocks by the Darkness, not by Neil Diamond. But anyway, we went. We drove at breakneck speed. I won't even tell you what speed I was going over the Forth Road Bridge.
Oh no!
In my wife's car. But we got there to Balado and we played on stage with the Darkness, and obviously the whole crowd were there not only just for the Darkness but for the rest of the great bands that were playing at Tea in the Park that year. They were definitely weren't there to see
the Chili Pipers.
But I remember on the way off stage, it was probably a thing that it was unique to us all. That was all these people clapping and we were waving as we were getting ushered. Actually, it's finished. The band have got to go in with their stuff. And we were all waving, and Stuart was like super enthusiastic again. He says, Willie, one day, that'll be us. We'll do this one day. And I was like, have you been smoking dope, Stuart? There's no way we'll be able to do this as bagpipes, mate.
Main stage.
Sure enough, after the Commonwealth Games and all that, we got on the main stage. We were the last band to open the main stage at Tea in the Park. So that was the last time it was in Balado.
Right enough.
And that was amazing. We played, and I remember looking up. Franz Ferdinand were on after us. And they were up. There's an artist bit you can go and say that big massive main stage at Balado, like in a balcony, and they were clapping away as they were doing pig jigs or something like that. And I thought, man, this is amazing. And my wee lassie, wee Molly again, she was. We got her in. She was we put her in as a makeup artist.
Just a sneaker in.
Aye. No. So she was backstage with champagne, and believe it or not, and this is a true story, as much Tennent's lager as you can drink.
You would never believe that.
Yeah, they actually go around with wee golf buggies with Tennent's lager on it, so you never run out of Tennent's lager.
Oh, that's some gig, that. Now, lots of highlights and cool things with the band. Obviously, with that comes low moments. What's probably been your lowest moment of the band?
Sometimes, one of the reason I left the Navy is because I was homesick. So you get homesick, and it's not as glamorous as people to people, it looks glamorous. I suppose you'll see this to any band, even at any level. Sometimes when you're on stage and you're looking at a musician on stage, you think, God, that's got to be the best job in the world. But actually being in both camps, I still go to a lot of live music, and I realise that the musicians on stage would maybe be going through some of the stuff that I go through, which is, you know, you're homesick, you know, you can't, one of the just wee things, like you've not been able to get a washing done for like 4 days, so things start to play in your mind, you know, and you're on stage thinking, is this venue got a washing machine? Oh, it's got a washing machine, but it's not got a tumble dryer. How am I going to get my socks dry? I can't dry my socks, man. Where are we? Pig jigs? For parts? So there's all these things go through your head, so you try and make sure that we always, when we're on tour, we don't talk about how many gigs we've got to do till we're off tour. We just take it a day at a time, and just get your head down, earn your crust, you know, and go on with it. But it's not always glamorous, as you would expect. And you know as well as I do, the way the Chili Pipers works, it's all in click tracks, and it's all programmed in the lights. And if you ever go off those set lists, Andy Part on the lighting, you'll go bananas.
Your gig's off.
Your gig's off. So basically, you play the same set every single night, with the same chat every single night for weeks and end. Weeks on end. So, but again, I always try and you always make sure, as any live musician will tell you, you need to make sure that when you're playing that, you're making yourself look as happy as you can be, no matter what's going on in your own head or personally, because these people have paid €35, €40 to come and hear you or watch you flap your fingers for 2 hours. So really, if you disrespect that, then that's
no more touring.
No more touring. I think that's a disgusting attitude to have. And again, I've been asked this a few times about the drinking and all that. We never drink before we go on stage. For a simple reason is I've listened to myself through the in-ears with 1 pint, and it's surprising how much a difference it makes. There's wee nuances there that shouldn't really be there. And if you're doing it right, you can't really do it with alcohol. I know that a lot of musicians can do it, and in fact some of them say they can't do it unless they've had a few drinks, but it certainly doesn't work for me, because the signal in my brain to my fingers is off by a millisecond.
There's so many guys in the band as well, as usually it could be 11 people on stage as well, if everyone's had a wee drink, that's
it could end up in a car crash. But I mean, don't get me wrong, I mean, we batter it when we're finished, you know. I mean, we're human beings.
Scottish.
We're Scottish. So we've had a few escapades, but certainly I've learned that, and I say that to the rest of the guys in the band as well. I say, guys, you know, you maybe have 1 pint, but certainly no more than that. And we always say it's the drink driving rule. If you should be, when you're on that stage, you're sober enough to drive a car, and that's the end of the story. So I always try and make sure that not only am I presenting the best show that I possibly can, but the actual the showmanship. And Stuart, when he was in the band, he used to drive it into us no matter what. Make eye contact with as many people as you can, look left to right, don't ever stand there and look at your shoes. A bit of movement, sometimes you overdo it, sometimes you underdo it, but you've always got to think, and I think about that, I take it very personally. I've like a responsibility that whoever's paid the money should be getting the best performance I can possibly give to them.
It's like that for every industry.
Absolutely, don't shortchange anybody.
Now, what are your plans for the future, Willie?
Well, you know me, Kyle.
Yes.
Many irons and many fires. So I'll be moving south soon. It's just that since I've retired from the fire brigade and I've been spending more time here, it's just Cumbernauld, you know, it rains constantly.
Do you know, it never rains in Dundee, Willie?
I know that.
That's your mistake there,
Anytime
Willie.
I pick you up about your office, it's always really sunny.
Glorious.
In Dundee.
Glorious Dundee.
But for that reason, I'll be going south. So I've got I'm building a house down in Bournemouth, in the process of doing that. It's going through planning just now, and I'll end my retirement days. I don't know how long I've got left in the band. I don't know. I don't really know if I can continue really to do as much as I've been doing. But certainly at this point in time, I've no thoughts of retiring just now. I'm 53, 54 in February. Maybe do another couple of years, and then we'll see how it goes. But my thoughts for the future is just carry on. We need to work on this new album, which you'll be part of.
That's right.
I still love playing in the band. I always say to when we get new, especially pipers and drummers, not perhaps the guitarists and keyboard players, but I always say to them, this is the best pipe band in the world by a country mile, because we get to fly all over the world. We get to stay in great hotels. We're fed really well. We get so much money per gig. There's no practicing involved because we play that much.
Very little rehearsals required
because we do all the rehearsals at sound checks, and then were gigging. How many gigs last year?
Was it 200 odd, isn't it?
238, I think we had. Out of, so
365 days.
Aye, so it's busy. And after that, I'll see where it goes. I'll always look back though and think that this is a very, very. I think I get asked quite a lot of times as well. You know, as you've just quite rightly asked with all the great questions, but I'll always look back in the time in the band and with rose-coloured specs. Sometimes there's been down times, but most of the time it's been an amazing experience, and it's quite a unique thing to be able to do because not everybody can do it. Now, I'm not saying that because I'm special. I'm just saying that because there's a fair bit of luck involved as well. You know? Right place at the right time and all that. Meeting Stuart Cassels, you know, meeting Kevin McDonald, the guy, the accountant who. I mean, the band, quite a lot of the bands implode quite quickly because they haven't paid any tax and all that, but that never happened with the Chili Pipers. And getting these, I spoke to Stuart about it the other night, it's just having these certain characters together and again, right place at the right time. And I'm not really sure that you could ever recreate that again, not to the level of the Red Hot.
A lot of guys have tried, and some bands do alright, I think, out of it, but they've certainly not stood the test of time that the Chili Pipers are still managing to.
I still think as well that when I'm gone and when Kevin's gone, the Chili Pipers will still be here. It's 15 years now, and there's no sign at all that it's on the flag. You know, it's not slowing down at all. If anything, it's getting busier and busier, and we're getting to play bigger and bigger events, especially in America. You know, the tours in America, you're playing on a Tuesday night in front of 1,500 people in a theatre. It's just astonishing.
Getting flown out for one gig.
You're playing there in front of 1,500 people. I would say 1,400 people there to see the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
And maybe a nice surprise for them.
Bagpipes.
When you end up moving down to Bournemouth, are you still going to keep on playing your pipes? Is that still going to be a regular thing for you?
Aye, so I was ready. I looked at those. You just go and search local pipe bands. There's a pipe band in there called the Ringwood Pipe Band.
Right.
So I sent him a wee message actually saying I would be quite interested. I just want to play tunes, you know. I'm not interested in competing or making. I was just wanting to stand at the back and play tunes because if you still go into the pipe band hall and you get the smell of the sheepskin bags, I don't really need much more than that. And I've been in my mid-50s, late 50s, so who needs all that kind of level of grief? But,
just more social thing.
Before we go, the funniest Chili Piper story.
Oh no.
I was in Milwaukee. I've told you this one. We were in Milwaukee. Have you played Milwaukee?
No.
You know?
I've done the Milwaukee Fair thing, but I've not done the actual Milwaukee Irish thing.
We played that 2 weeks ago. I was in Canada with the Fergus Highland Games. We were playing in Milwaukee. It was about 4 years ago. I think it was actually the DVD one. And I was standing as you're there. You need to go down the back and sign CDs and that after it. And there was a big massive queue. It took about an hour to sign all these CDs. And I remember there was a woman about my age and her daughter, and they had a mobile phone, and they kept looking at the mobile phone, the picture of the mobile phone, and then looking at me and laughing.
Oh no!
But as I'm signing autographs and all that, I kept looking up, and they were getting closer, and they were laughing more and more. And I was getting quite disconcerting. You know, I was like, what are they laughing at? You know? So eventually they came to the front, and I said, I've got to ask you, what you're laughing at? What's so funny? And the woman says, oh my god, you look just like our dog.
Oh no!
And I was like, well, obviously my face dropped. And I was like, what? And she went, oh, she's trying to make it better. So she says, oh no, look, she's a really good looking dog.
Oh no!
And I went, I know, but I'm a male human. Oh no! And then she says, well, hang on, we'll show you. And I said, I felt like saying, no, I don't want to see it. And then she says, look there you go. And she showed me, and I went, actually, I do look like your dog.
Do look like their dog. Oh no! That's when you know you've made it, Willie. Well, anyway, thanks very, very much for that, Willie. You're the first Red Hot Chili Piper on the show.
Thanks, Gail.
Hopefully not the last.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.